Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about this video that G2 Esports tweeted out a while ago. It was like December 21st. It was like around a Christmas type video where Carlos and Jack, G2 and Cloud9 are maybe having a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of banter about potentially G2 selling off a jungler to Cloud9 sometime in the future, potentially selling off Jankos. And I know this video is completely messed around. It is completely joking, but I do actually think it is an interesting discussion to talk about because I think it might be something that we could actually be seeing in the future. I know there is a lot of memes and stuff about, oh, G2 maybe stealing Selfmade next and all that stuff. And I think there actually could be some stuff here. And there's some interesting tweets that I want to talk about in this video. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you guys are not already subscribed, definitely click that subscribe button really quick. It's fast, it's free, it's easy. Helps you guys stay up to date on all my latest content, and I would appreciate it a ton. We're closing in on 5,500 subscribers. I would love to hit that before the end of the year. We got 2 days left. But even if not, that's our goal. Shoot it into 2021, and that will be just fine too. If you enjoy my content, if you enjoy my videos, if you like what we do here, make sure you click that like button really fast. Also, it helps me out a ton, helps me out the YouTube algorithm, helps our channel grow. That would be great. With that being said, here we go. So first up, just if you haven't seen this clip, I wanted to watch this clip so we can react to it a little bit of what G2, what Carlos is actually saying to Jack, and where maybe all this is coming from. But again, the rumors and stuff and speculation started way before this, and yes, they're trolling, definitely, they're memeing, but they're come next offseason, there could be something here. So let's see what Carlos has to say.
Jack to Jack.
Jack's the CEO of Cloud9.
Thank you. Period. Money is being well spent.
Obviously talking about the money that they got from perks.
Next year. Do you need a jungler?
And that's where he starts, talking about asking if he needs a jungler, talking about jokingly potentially selling off Jankos. But again, there is some more to it because depending on what G2 does this year, so G2 is built to win right now. They're trying to win a world title. They've won so many LEC titles. They've won an MSI title. The next thing for them is Worlds. They have a super team put together of the best European talent. And if this team is not able to win a world title this year, we could potentially maybe see more changes made to this team. And a lot of the speculation has been surrounding Jankos and maybe G2 potentially moving on from him. Not only because maybe Jankos hasn't been able to stand up to the top tier other junglers in the world. I know, like, he got really hard jungle diffed in the 2019 World Finals, and people were kind of flaming him a lot, and maybe he's just a little bit inconsistent. He is definitely great, but again, we're talking about matching up against the best of the best junglers in the world, and he does have potentially a viable replacement out there in Selfmade, who people think is potentially, a lot of people have him rated higher than Jankos right now, but again, if he continues to develop and has another huge year on Fnatic this year, but also, this is kind of based on the fact that if Fnatic does not have a good year, which people think is possible, obviously, Fnatic just lost Reckless, they have a new mid laner coming in, a lot of changes happening to Fnatic. If they don't have a good year, Hylissang is only signed to a 1-year deal. If Hylissang leaves, there's been a lot of rumors of Hylissang and Whippo being connected, maybe trying to stay together, maybe trying to leave together. So then the Fnatic roster would kind of start falling apart at that point. And then, would Fnatic be incentivized to sell off Selfmade? Would Selfmade be incentivized to want to leave? And if he was going to go somewhere, G2 would surely be at the top of his list, and G2 would be throwing a ton of money at him. But also in this offseason, G2 saw just how much money they can get for their players. They were getting some insane offers thrown around for perks. Obviously, end up doing a multi-million-dollar deal to sell off perks to Cloud9. And they could do something very similar once again with Jankos, because again, they're starting to realize how much money their players are demanding on the open market, which is really crazy. And again, at the end of the day, G2 wants to win, but they are also a business. So if they could get Selfmade and still have a very good chance of winning, but also in the process make a couple $1 million, that's great for the business, great for the brand, great for the League of Legends team. I think it could work out because, again, Hylissang's only on a 1-year deal for Fnatic. Fnatic might not be the best team this year. G2, if they don't win Worlds, or even if they do win Worlds, Jankos has talked about, like, retiring and stuff. So I think there's a couple different ways that G2 could maybe move on from Jankos, whether he retires, whether they decide to move on, whether they sell him to NA, or whether they sell him to another EU team. There's teams like Vitality, who is trying to build a super team this offseason, that G2 maybe wouldn't be as scared of. Like, obviously, G2 was not ready to sell off perks to Fnatic, but if Vitality comes calling with a huge offer for somebody like Jankos, maybe they'd be a little bit more inclined, because Vitality is much further away from actually being able to compete with G2 right now, through being able to, like, dethrone G2 or take their fan base or anything like that, which is something Carlos talked about. Carlos talked about wanting to remain the number one team in Europe, that being a high priority for them, for their brand, for their business, for their organization, for their League of Legends team. So I just thought that was really, really interesting. But then we scroll down, and there's some more tweets. Fosty tweets out, just renamed C9 to G2NA already. Perk, Sven, Myth, Jankos, soon it will be 4 players. Also, buy Jankos, welcome Selfmade. So he's talking about it too. It is kind of the big meme in the community right now. But Jack also replies to this, if I can find it. I can't remember where that tweet from Jack was. I think it was back here. Oh, yes. So this guy says, can't be Jankos, Perks, and Sven because 2 imports max. And then Jack says, yeah, there's no way Sven could get a green card this year. That might be a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek joke, or he might actually just be saying there's no way Sven could get a green card this year. But maybe next year would Sven be able to get a green card? He's at least, thinking about getting this going because, yeah, that would be crazy if Sven does get a green card, if he does become a resident player, that then, hey, all of a sudden they do have an import slot open. And obviously a lot of that is going to depend on how good Blabber looks this year. If Blabber looks how he did in Spring Split and he's an MVP or an MVP candidate, yes, Cloud9 is not going to be moving on from Blabber, probably even for Jankos, just because Blabber is going to be kind of the future for them, and a resident player and a guy that they've kind of molded and stuff, unless they decide to sell off Blabber to get Jankos maybe, but that'd still be a weird decision, especially because Jankos is kind of hinting at retirement sometimes already anyway, because he has a very, very just huge streaming career ahead of him whenever he decides to give it up. But there could also, so say Blabber, has that spring split, they wouldn't be looking at a guy like Jankos. But if Blabber has his summer split or his end of his summer split or his summer playoffs where he maybe looks a little bit more inconsistent, he looks like maybe not the best jungler in NA, maybe second, third, fourth, even in some people's opinions, then at that point, maybe they could be looking to move on. But again, Cloud9 is not the only team out there. Cloud9 is not the only team with money. There's other North American teams with money. There's, like Evil Geniuses is constantly trying to throw around money. 100 Thieves trying to throw around money. TSM just dropped $3 million on a player. Team Liquid, they're always out there. But then there's other teams in Europe as well. They would have a bunch of different options potentially to sell a guy off. But again, I love to see this tweet from Jack where he's talking about, yeah, maybe, if we can get Sven a green card, then all of a sudden we have another import slot opening up. He did tweet a little bit later on. He tweeted at Blabber like, hey, Blabber, I'm just messing around or I'm just joking around or something. But again, he is still talking about this stuff. He is still putting the thought in people's minds. And yes, G2 is definitely joking about it. Cloud9 is definitely joking about it. But it is actually something we could see in the future. Because again, there is a million ways this season could go. We haven't even started playing games yet. We don't know how it's going to look. But G2 has a goal to win Worlds. And if they don't do it this year, they're going to be looking to make moves. Fnatic wants to be one of the best teams in the world. They want to start winning the LEC again. And their players also want to be on a good team. And if that doesn't happen this year, they could be moving on. Cloud9 wants to be a great team. Every offseason has been absolutely insane, Like Jankos moving over to Cloud9 or Vitality or something would not be an insane move relative to Perks going to Cloud9, relative to Reckless going to G2, relative to Caps coming to G2 and Perks going to AD Carry. Like, we have seen some absolutely insane stuff, and Jankos being on the move could maybe, just thinking ahead a little bit, could maybe be the next big move we see headed into the next offseason, because that is on the horizon, and I think it is a move that could definitely be made, especially, again, if Selfmade looks like an MVP candidate on Fnatic, which I definitely think he could be. He could absolutely carry this Fnatic team, especially if people, especially if Niski comes into the team and plays how people think he's going to be able to. If Niski is a good mid laner and plays that facilitative style for Selfmade, he could absolutely shine on Fnatic this season. But Fnatic could still be like the second or third best team in the LEC because Rogue looks very good. G2 obviously looks very good. Mad Lions is going to have something to say. Schalke, if they're able to continue their run, the top of the LEC is going to be pretty competitive. And Fnatic does have some holes in their roster. And even at times last year with Reckless looked a little inconsistent. I think they went like 9-9 in the summer split or something like that. So there is a lot of different things that happen. And again, this is so speculative. This is so looking forward into the future. But, there is these videos, there is this tweets, there is this conversation going on. And I thought it was fun to talk about it a little bit. And I think there is a world where we could definitely see Selfmade on G2 in the future. And we could see all these moving parts. And again, I don't know exactly where Jankos would end up going. I don't know where that is yet until we play out this season and then see a team that has a clear need in the jungle position and a clear place to go. But yeah, people like G2 wants to win Worlds, and a lot of people don't really expect them to win this year because Damwon is going to be strong once again. FPX, SKT, there's going to be a ton of great teams, and G2 is going to be one of those teams. But again, there's only one international tournament. You got one team has one chance to win it, and there's going to be a bunch of great teams that still come up short. So it's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be crazy to see. But we're just, we're the rumor. We're all about the rumors and speculation here. We're a little bit forward looking and just yeah, there is a future, there is a world where Carlos could be selling off Jankos and getting a couple million in return. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. What do you think's gonna happen? Do you think Selfmade is gonna be on G2 next year? Do you think G2 is gonna be looking to sell off Jankos, or do you think they're gonna be holding on to him and building around him for the future, and he's gonna be on their future world title team or whatever happens? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe so update on my latest content. Remember to subscribe, like the video. I would appreciate that a ton. Hopefully, I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.